I'm Sri. I'm in Dubai. I'm standing next to this tree, which we just figured out might be a neem tree. I've only recently noticed that I kind of care about this tree and think about it a lot. Actually, in one of my recent visits, I was kind of looking at the leaves kind of falling down on the floor, and I was like, oh, this feels like something I've seen a few times, and it feels like a familiar sight. And then that got me thinking about how I do care about this place, and this is near the temple. Like, it's a temple we come often, but I realize I'm not too attached to it for like the religious aspect of it. But I think about the fact that we return here over time. I think a lot about how a lot of the history of my family and how we relate to Dubai often comes back to just returning to this place, even if it's not like on like a regular weekly basis. We come back every once in a while when we just want to, pray, or when things are kind of going off. There's just weird connections we have. Again, mostly to come to the temple. I was able to find out that this temple was apparently set up in 1958, which has a lot of connotations to think about. Like, that was way before the country actually became a country. To think about the history of like what that means for something to stay that long. Like, these buildings and shops have changed a lot in terms of even the ones that we used to go, that we went to, that we used to always visit. They've changed their own business structures, and literally the buildings themselves have transformed with the kind of architectural requirements. But that makes me think about what this tree is, and how it's centered. Maybe things I've seen when I was like super small. My parents tell me about these stories of like, we used to live kind of not across the street, maybe of not blocks even, like maybe like 4 to 5 kilometers away from here. They used to kind of walk me in a pram as a baby, and I would just like fall asleep right when they got here, even though it was just like annoying, sunny, hot walk all the way to get to the temple. But then I think about all of that in relation to just like, like last week when I was here. I don't know if I really remember the temple coming here, what it used to be like, because I was probably just too small. But I do kind of remember seeing these leaves on the floor quite often, and that just being significant, that just being an important part of things I just always saw growing up, and maybe that just stays in your head.